Greetings, grand rising, peace, love, harmony, and the light. What's up? This is Chief Kalinago, Flying Eagle. Man, I hope y'all are doing great. It's a beautiful day indeed. It's a double sun day, right? It's a day the sun is out, plus today they say it's Sunday, right? So we got a 2-for-1 Sunday. Um, Once again, hope everybody's feeling good. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Beautiful time to be alive. You know me, I'm coming with a lot of positive energy, a lot of great energy. I'm sending that into the world. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if you're looking for love, positive energy, holistic well-being, this is the right place to be at the right time. Do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and share this link in your prospective platforms, YouTube, Facebook, wherever the case may be. All right. Let me just make sure I have some sound here. Give me a second. Okay, so got my YouTube ready. Let me make sure my Facebook is ready. All right, give me a second here. Facebook is ready. Facebook is ready. Facebook. Give me a second. That will give you guys some time to log in. Today, what I'm going to do is we are still talking about. Facebook is ready. Facebook. Yeah. We are still talking about your why, but I'm going to take you guys a little deeper into things, looking at things more so from a metaphysical perspective, breaking down the cycle of life. Through my meditation last night, when I laid down, that's what came to me in terms of me breaking that down. So I'm going to share that with you guys, and hopefully you'll see some value in this video today, or this presentation, whichever way you want to call it. But I just want you to know that today, now, the present, all right, is always the best time of your life. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Today, the now, the present is always the best time of your life, because most times we were taught to wait until this, whatever you want to call it, this ritual of what they call Christmas, all right, to celebrate a present, or to give presents, or to acknowledge presence. But I want you to know that today is the best day to acknowledge that present. Okay, the now, that's the best time of your life, because you're able to make decisions that will affect not just your now, but your future, and your future ultimately becomes your past. All right, because that's what you leave behind. So with that being said, let me just get into this. Greetings, Zazie. All right, if you're on the chat right now, do me a favor, drop a line, say what's up. Once again, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you at, go ahead and share the information, because that's what it's about. I know it's a bit early, but those who are going to catch it later will catch it later. So let me go ahead and share my screen and break that down for you guys, right? So like I said, in my meditation, this is what came to me, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, here we go. Let's share this. All righty. Okay, guys, so here we go. Okay, I'm going to break this down for you guys, because like I said, this is what came to me in my meditation. And since I'm talking to people about, about life, about, abundance, that's what came. So this is my breakdown of the cycle of life. Okay. And so from the very top, we have what's called, again, this is just my way of breaking this down, right? I have what I call the universal mind. Now, the universal mind is what people may call God, the Most High, you know what I'm saying? The creator of all. You see, that's what, a lot of my ancestors, when they lost their languages, their best concept of what they call God was the Great Spirit. All right. So that's what I would consider to be the Great Spirit, the universal mind. All right. Where everything pretty much exists. Thought, everything is within the universal mind. Right. Now, within the universal mind itself, we all had to what? We all had to come here to have our own experience. All right. And all this is part of finding your purpose. All this is part of finding your why. Okay. All this is part of finding your why. Your purpose is only physical. within the universal mind. What I mean by that is outside of the physical realm, we just exist. You see, there's no purpose, there's just life. The only perception of purpose is only when we manifest in the flesh. It's only because of the conscious mind we tend to have what we call purpose. All right. Outside of the realm of what's not physical, there's no purpose because everything in life, is just existence. So within the universal mind, what happened is this: we were able to what we became conscious, so to speak. We became conscious of our reality, that there was life within ourselves. So what did we do? We manifested ourselves, okay, into what we call individuals. Because when you look at the all is pretty much what people call God. The all, A-L-L, is the all, right? When you look at the word individual, it means that you were divided from the all. How another way I could explain this? Let us look at the body of ocean of water. All right. The ocean is a body of water. If we were to take, let's just say, 7 billion little cups of water from the ocean, that would be the individual. So basically, the ocean would be the all, the universal all. You know what I'm saying? The great spirit. Everything exists within the body of the ocean. But if you take little cups of water and let's just say 7 billion cups of water, and take it out of the ocean, those of course would be divided from the all, which is the ocean. So it's the same thing that we did, right? We had the universal all, which is what we call God, well, some people call God, and then we divided ourselves from the all. That's why hence you have the term individual. So we came to have an individual experience outside of ourselves in our totality, if that makes sense. Now, if that makes sense to you guys, go ahead and type 1, or else I could try and break it down some more. But the universal all is what some people may call God, the universal mind. Within that entire all, we felt things and realized that, there were different characteristics in the all, and we wanted to come experience that outside of the whole. So we divided ourselves from the all, okay? And we came here to have an individual experience. All right. So that's why when I hear people say, hey, I am divine, I tell people, me personally, I'm not, I have been divined, but now because I know who I am and I know the truth, I am vine. And what I mean by that is, look at a grape tree. Okay. Grapes, you find grapes on a vine. When you take the grapes out of the vine, what do? You divine the grape, right? So therefore you are disconnected. So when people keep saying, again, you have to look at the words. When you say that you are divine, you are saying that you are separated. You are disconnected from the universal mind. You're disconnected from the God that you call God, or the entity or the energy that you call God. So for me, I am very mindful of the words that I speak. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not divine. I used to be, because I wasn't aware. You see what I'm saying? That's where the lack of knowledge was. Ignorance. It's okay to be ignorant. It's all right, because all ignorance means is the lack of knowledge. But when you know, you're supposed to do better. You see what I'm saying? So when I got into the etymology of words, I realized that why would I want to be divine if I'm making my way back to the universal mind? If I'm making my way back to the great spirit, what you call God, if I'm making my way back to God, why would I want to continuously say that I'm divine? No. So during my affirmations and my meditations, I say that I am vine, meaning that I am still connected to what? The universal mind. You see what I'm saying? Now, since the universal mind doesn't have any boundaries, since the universal mind is limitless, then when I do my affirmations, I claim that as well. Since the universal mind is intelligence, then I claim that as well. You see, because when you know who you truly are, you literally know that you are a deity. All right? So we have the universal mind, which is the totality where we all are one. All right? There is only one. And that's why I tell people I had to leave a lot of these videos alone on YouTube, because it's like I grew beyond, what I was teaching. There was a time for that, but I had to elevate myself. You see, because when you have a higher understanding of thinking, that's how you see life. So therefore, this is the cycle right here. I had to go into all this to give you pretty much a foundation of where I'm going with that. So when we manifest in the universal realm, in the mind, okay, nothing is physical. Okay, nothing is physical. It's just energy. All right, it's just energy. It's just what you call being. It's just life. And within being, within universal intelligence, we have different characteristics, all right, that we took from that to manifest into the flesh. All right. So as you can see, I have birth here. All right. Now you see, I have birth and I have arrival. And I've spoken about this in videos before, but I never, explained it that way. So what is birth? When you look at your birth certificate and you see a date and you see that's your birth date, that's not your birth date. That's actually your arrival date. Your birth date is when the sperm met the egg. And you don't know unless you were actually in the room or in the car, in some people's cases, or in the hotel, wherever the case may be, your parents were, or in the back of the club. I don't know. All right. But, people hook up in the strangest places, right? But the point I'm making is this. When you look at your driver's license or your birth certificate, so to speak, that is not a birth certificate. That is an arrival certificate. That is an event that took place and they gave it a name, which is you, which I've done in many videos. So I'm not going to get into that because I don't want people start asking me about status. That's not what this is about. I just want you to find your purpose. That's the reason why I'm doing this. So when your mother and your dad met, okay, they birthed you. Meaning that they got together, they did what they did, and once the sperm met the egg, that was your birth. In other words, that was spiritual. Okay? It was electric. It was all energies, two energies coming together to connect, to birth the arrival, which is the name that they gave you. All right? I hope that makes sense. If that makes sense so far, do me a favor and go ahead and type 2. So your birth date is actually what's your arrival, you call your birth date. Now, you have to go back at least 9 months, 7 months, 8 months between those two spaces to find when your birth date is. So that's your birth date. All right. Coming from the universal realm, which is the universal mind. So what a lot of people don't realize is that your parents, your mom and dad, you were the one who orchestrated all of this. Because you already existed in universal mind. So you already knew what your mom was going to look like. You already knew what your dad was going to look like. You already knew what circumstances that you were going to face. And after I'm done with this presentation or this lecture, you will look at your life from a whole different perspective. Because you were the one who planned all of this. You were the one who wrote the blueprint. You are the architect of your own life. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, when you were birthed, you put everything out there in the universal mind. Okay, you came together with your mom, your dad, the people that your grandmother, your great grandmother, everybody. In other words, your clan, your tribe. You see what I'm saying? Even in the universal realm, even if we were one, energy still gravitated together. Okay, even in the universal realm. Energies like energies, they gravitated to each other. And what they did, they had contracts. They are spiritual contracts, universal contracts, whatever you want to call them. But they were contracts outside of the physical realm. And then you decided that, hey, you know what? When I go have my experience, when I divide myself from the all, in other words, when I become my own individual, meaning that I divided from the all, I would like you guys to be the one that I am going to come through. You see, now it wasn't spoken physically, but it was telepathically. You see what I'm saying? Because it was just a common language. That was the one language. The one language before Babel was the universal mind, what we call telepathy. That was the universal mind or the universal language. So you knew you were coming to what parents and the time, the place, every single thing. So you hooked that up. So when you think your mom or your dad was the one that saw your mom in the club and be like, you know what, man, oh, I'm gonna get me some tonight. No, that was you working your magic. It was already set. So they met, they did what they did, you were birthed, boom, here comes the arrival. Okay, so that's your arrival. Hey, you know, you got a baby boy, you got a baby girl, congratulations. That's the arrival. But the system has changed things, they changed things around to make that your birthday. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, within the cycle of you being birthed and your arrival, your parents, okay, your mom particularly, she's supposed to be the one nursing you for that 9 months, that 8 months. Of course, we know the daddy's around sometimes, maybe not. But the point is, you're always going to be with your mom from the time you were birthed to your arrival. Okay, that's nature taking place, nature curing. All right, that's when mothers really connect with what we call earth, mother earth, mama earth, nature. Okay, because that's what mother nature does. You feel me? So here you go, you arrived. Now when you arrived at that point, that's when you are the closest. Well, that's not true. When you are birthed, that's when you are still in your true essence of what we call the great spirit or the universal mind, because you are fresh of the spaceship, so to speak. You're fresh of that portal. All right, your parents, everything, the Bible, the education, the food that you eat, every single thing. Now let me ask you a question. And again, this is not about religion. This is about you finding your purpose. And that's what we are talking about right here today. Okay, so we're still, because you see, a lot of things take place within that time of birth and the arrival. You have to realize that. Now, let me ask any one of you, when your parents birthed you and then you arrived, let me ask you a question. Any one of you guys, what book, what language, okay, did you have on your arrival? Can anybody tell me? Was there a book or a language that you came when you arrived? What was the book and the language that you spoke? If anybody could tell me, I would appreciate that. Anybody, type that in for me, please. If you can, that is. I'm not sure if you guys, let me see. I don't know. For some reason, it looked like my YouTube stopped. I don't know, but let's try this again. Here we go. All right. But you know what? Let me answer that. Okay, just in case. So there was no book or no language. Okay, no, Valerie, you're absolutely correct. There was no book or no language. So anything that you learned is what you were taught. And anything that they learned is something they were taught. So how can anybody tell you, okay, what's true or not? When the truth of the matter is, when you came from the universal mind, when you came from the all, when you came from the great spirit, you came fully loaded. When you birthed here, you were fully loaded. Everything that you needed was already in you, until they start taking it out of you. They start taking it out of you with the indoctrination of the world. Well, no, this is the truth. This is who God is. This is who this is. This is what you got to be. So my question is, do people really know who God is? You see what I'm saying? Because you were taught what God is. And that's why I tell a lot of people, we were not made in the image of God. God was made in the image of us, because people make God up in their own image, if that makes sense. But again, this is not about, religion. I'm just breaking things down for you. Okay, so once you arrived and then you got indoctrinated to tell you what your truth is supposed to be, when the truth of the matter is you came straight from the truth. You came from the essence of truth. When you came, you were pure. No lies, no hatred, nothing. Okay? No perception of what this physical is or was. No perception of the physical world. No perception of the conscious world. As a matter of fact, when you were birthed and between your birth and your arrival, okay, your conscious mind was literally the second nature. The only thing that was actually more prevalent was what? Your subconscious mind. And a lot of you may or may not see this, right? Because when you are a baby, all right, your conscious mind is not as developed as your subconscious mind. So what does that mean? It means that you are closer to the Most High. You are closer to the universal mind. You are closer to the Great Spirit, to what you call God. Because now you are actually in your essence. You are still within the essence. That spiritual umbilical cord is still connected. Even if they cut, once you arrive and they cut the physical umbilical cord, guess what? That spiritual umbilical cord is still tied. Why? Because your conscious mind wasn't developed enough to be indoctrinated. It's only when the indoctrination start taking place is when you started to comprehend, when you started to develop your conscious mind. That's when the what you call the conscious mind started playing tricks on you, because now your reality or your perception of what you came with, when you came fully loaded, you were converted. And now that perception became the perception of this physical world, what we call life, the cycle of life. That was the journey. Once you start becoming conscious, okay, you started to know what love and hate is. You started to know what joy and pain is. They started teaching you about being wealthy and being poor, the right and wrong. You see what I'm saying? Knowledge and ignorance. All that is within the cycle of life. So let's go back to your purpose. Okay? When you are in the universal realm, there is no purpose. Well, I can't say there isn't. The only purpose is just to be. That's all it is. It's just to be. All right? Just be in the universal realm. There is no up, there's no down, there's no love, there's no hate, there's no good, there's no bad. Well, you know what? It's all love. It depends on the perspective that you look at it. All right? But just know that within the universal mind, what people call God, the universal mind in itself is organic. It cannot do anything bad. However, it created outside of itself to experience things like what we call bad things. I'm going to break that down again because I don't want to confuse you guys. Okay? The universal mind, the great spirit, what people call God, cannot do anything bad. You see what I'm saying? So when you have these books telling you, well, God did this and God did that, no, they are talking about false gods, false idols. That's how I know these books are written by men. You see what I'm saying? Because God, the true ultimate most high, the universal all, cannot do bad. However, it was an experience that had to be experienced. So therefore, the universal all created outside of itself and created something that could let it experience something opposed to what it is, which is being good all the time. Hence, the devil was created. You see what I'm saying? Because the devil couldn't manifest within the all and be the devil. The devil couldn't be the devil within the universal mind, so to speak, or within God. So God had to create something outside of himself, to experience what they couldn't do within themselves, because they cannot be, that body of what we call God cannot be contaminated. But you see, we perceive it as bad, but it's not. It is just the opposite of what we call good, if that makes sense. Okay? So all this, we're staying within the realm of what we call purpose. You see what I'm saying? All that is still within the realm of purpose, because love and hate, they are literally the same thing. They are literally the same thing. It's the same pole, but different polarity. Perfect example, a battery. A battery has a negative and a positive pole, but it's one battery. It's the same thing. Okay, you could take a long piece of metal and put one piece in ice. That part of that metal will be extremely cold, and then the other part, you heat it up, it will be extremely hot, but yet still is the same piece of metal. So that's like love and hate. Okay, it's like joy and pain. It's the same thing. But what determines the difference is your conscious mind. Okay, is your conscious mind. But within the universal all, there's no separation because it's all the same thing, if that makes sense. So your conscious mind is literally what would I call it? Your conscious mind is what they call the serpent, the devil. Okay, that's your conscious mind, because now it gives you the ability to make you think that you to give you the knowledge, or make you think that you can be like God, which is your subconscious mind. But yet still it is, because it's the same thing. Guys, I hope I'm not confusing you with this. All right. I know it can get a little deep, but it's not that complicated. All right. It's not that complicated. Again, let us go back to the Garden of Eden. All this stuff is allegory. Allegory. Your subconscious mind is the Garden of Eden. All right. The serpent that came in is what? The conscious mind. Because now it could tell you the difference between things. In the universal mind, there is no perception of anything. It just is. You see, the universe don't know when you are lying. The universe don't know when you're saying, the universe cannot tell whether you're joking. That's why I tell people, when you do your affirmations, be very specific, because the universe will give you exactly what you are saying. Don't make jokes with the universe. All right. So with that being said, finding your purpose, okay, obviously when you're birthed, you don't have any control over that because your parents are in control. On your arrival, you still don't have control over that because you're still a baby. So now they're shaping you. Oh, terrible twos. Like I said before, why you gotta be a terrible two? Why are you speaking that spell on my life? Why can't I just be a joyous two? And maybe I'm just curious. You see, it depends on your perception. So now people start shaping you, who you are, from the moment you were birthed. They started giving you, they give you an identity, they give you a name. All right? When the truth of the matter is, when you were in the universal all, you were part of the all, you had no name. Because it was just one body. There was no name. And that's why even in the allegorical Bible, God said what? My name is I am. Meaning that I am everything. I am everything and I am nothing. So no matter how you look at it, I am. And then all of a sudden, man came in. No, the name is Jehovah. No, the name is Jesus. No, the name is Yahshua. No, the name is Al Shaddai and all type of stuff. Oh, the name is Heru. I don't care how far back you go. They all stem from the same source. Man, perception of what the all is. It's all a perception of man. Man created God. God didn't create man. You see what I'm saying? Because there is only continuation of life. Life is life. Life is life. That's all there is. So man made God in their own image. Because how can you describe something that is indescribable? How can you see something that cannot be seen? You see what I'm saying? How can you give something a gender if it doesn't have a gender? So you see, all that stuff comes from you being converted. And all that took place from your birth to your arrival, and boom, all through your life. All through your life, okay, you are being indoctrinated. All through your life, you are being brainwashed. Or I'm asking you today, When are you going to find yourself? When are you going to go back to being that child? In other words, be born again. You see, religion teaches you things in a way that more so from a profitable perspective. They pay, you got to pay to learn these things. You got to give your 10%. Well, Chief Kalinago is giving it to you for free because I want you to free yourself. I want you to find your purpose. Okay? Being born again doesn't mean you have to be washed by nobody's blood. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to eat nobody's body. That's cannibalism. But yes, still they will tell you that, oh, you know, this is evil. But yet still you eat people's bodies. Even if it's imaginary, you're still symbolizing eating somebody's body and drinking somebody's blood. You are cannibal. So you see how you were indoctrinated to do all these rituals and spells to man-made gods. So you have to think about these things. How can I find myself again? Well, you know what? You got to be born again. And when I say be born again, I'm not talking about eating people's body and drinking people's blood. The being born again has to be the renewal of the mind. What? The universal mind that you came from. You know what I'm saying? So the individual mind, you have to what? Now connect it back to the universal mind and find yourself again. Be born again. In other words, even in the book, it tells you, renew your mind. You have to renew your mind. It's the only way it's going to work. The baptism is internal. The baptism is within your mind. You see, what religion will not tell you is this. When the allegorical Jesus got baptized, he wasn't baptized physically. It was mentally. It was internal, because within each and every one of us, we have our 12 disciples, which are your, they give you discipline. Okay? Within each and every one of us, within our mind, we have 12 faculties that are called disciples. And because of the study of the mind and behavior, man gave them a name. So John the Baptist, okay, who baptized Jesus, okay, was an allegorical figure. In other words, it was all metaphysical. It was in the mind. So there is a John the Baptist in your mind that is supposed to baptize you when you start renewing your mind, when you start connecting yourself to the universal all, when you start stepping up your, what you call your to the higher realms of thinking. When you're stepping into your so-called Christ consciousness, John has to step in and do that eternal baptism. In other words, I'm going to wash away all the negative things. And I'm going to make you whole. I'm going to renew your mind. That's what all this means. You feel me? So with that being said, you have to go back and find your purpose. And the key is you have to go back to your arrival, or close to your arrival as possible, and see where see what your parents did, your aunts, your uncles, the adults in your life. At what point was I converted and taught all these things? At what point in my life did they put any book in my hand and tell me that was the truth? At what point somebody had to tell me who God was? When the truth of the matter is, between birth and my arrival, I knew exactly who God was. Because I'm a whole lot closer to the God that they call God than they are. Because their perception of God is who they were told God is. But I came right from the source. I was still vine until I became divine by the indoctrination of my parents. Man, somebody stop me. So you see, to find your purpose, you have to what? Go back and renew your mind. In other words, be born again and learn to vine, connect back to the universal all. So now when you experience love and hate, you'll realize that it's the same thing, it's just a different emotion. When you experience joy and pain, it's the same thing, it's just a different emotion. Wealth and poor is the same thing, it's just a different emotion, it's the perception. So you got to find your purpose within the cycle of life. And then you go through all these emotions, all these characteristics of life: love, joy, pain. You see what I'm saying? Being poor, being right, being wrong. In the universal realm, okay, of the mind, what you may call God, there is no right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. But yet still, there could be experience. You could have experienced souls, less experienced souls. You see what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. So when we come here, we start learning, oh, don't do this, that's wrong. Don't do this, that's right. Says whom? Wrong and right to whom? You feel me? Wrong and right to whom? Then we have knowledge and ignorance. Let's talk about knowledge and ignorance here for a second, right? When you are birthed and you arrive, you have a lot of knowledge, okay? However, you are still in ignorance. Why? Because you are not aware of the knowledge that you came with from the universal all. Why? Because you are not able to express yourself at that time. So you are still in the state of Babel. Okay? And I'm talking about physically. You are able to communicate telepathically. However, in your physical state of being, because your conscious mind is not developed yet, you are still in the form of what? Ignorance, where you find babble. What do you think babies speak? Babies babble. Blah, 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 mama, da, da, blah, blah, blah. That's babble. Okay? You are trying to articulate yourself and express yourself, okay, from your subconscious mind. However, your conscious mind is not developed enough. In other words, the serpent, okay, is not fully grown in you. Your serpent is still growing in you to give you the knowledge of what's right and wrong, love and hate, joy and pain, wealth and poor, up and down, left and right. That's what gives you the knowledge in you. That's what brings you the wisdom. So the serpent is a beautiful thing if you know how to embrace the serpent. I know that's going to scare a lot of y'all right now, but all of this is about finding your purpose. Because when you truly know who you are, you will not be afraid. Okay? You'll know how to experience joy, but at the same time, know how to identify pain. You will learn how to appreciate love, but at the same time, know how to identify hate and realize which one of these emotions is more wealthy for your physical being. Because each of them, there's always a reaction to every action, cause and effect. You see what I'm saying? So anything that causes you to love, there's going to be an effect. And the effect is the feeling. All right? Is the feeling. If anything happened where you got hate, what happened is the cause, and the effect is the feeling of hate. Now that is an energy, okay, that destroys you. It deteriorates you. It brings you down to a lower frequency. Even in the universal realm, in that state of being, it takes you down to a lower vibration. But love, okay, it springs you up. It gives you life. It gives abundance. Even if it's the same energy, it's just a different frequency. Okay? So you have to go back and be born again. And no, it doesn't mean you have to go in some church and eat somebody's body and drink their blood. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you have to accept anybody as your personal savior. No, you are your personal savior. Okay? You want to know what your personal savior is? Your personal savior is what? Your mind. Your individual mind is your savior. That's your savior. And you cannot go back to the universal mind unless what? You go through your mind, which is the son or the daughter of the universal mind. Somebody says, Chief, you talking too much right now. Chief, you giving them too much truth right now. The question is, are they ready for the truth? So you see how religion took all that basic, just things they knew, from way back. And they realized that the masses will not be able to get this. So they gave them false gods. Anytime you could describe your God, you are worshiping a false God. Anytime your God got a gender, you are worshiping a false God. Anytime your God is a he or a she, you are worshiping a false God. And all this foolish talk, oh, the woman is God, shut up. We all gods. But gods have different responsibilities. That's how I know when I listen to people talk, I could tell you exactly where you are at in your ascension. I could tell exactly where you're at in your growth. Trust me, I don't have to know you. All I just have to hear you speak and see the things you post. Why? And I'm not judging. It's because you shall know a tree by its fruits. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to know you to know what type of tree that you are. Okay? If I walk into a field and I see a banana tree, I know exactly what it is. Because why? Because of the fruits it produces. If I see an orange tree, I'll tell you definitively, hey, that's an orange tree. Why? How do you know, Chief? Well, guess what? It produces oranges. So when you open up your mouth and you speak, whatever you post on your Facebook, whatever comes out of you, I know what type of individual you are. Am I judging? No. I just know you by your fruits. And I might be allergic to your fruits. You see what I'm saying? We don't eat every fruit. No, some of us we are allergic to fruits. So yes, I am allergic to some people because I don't want to eat your fruit, the fruit that you produce. Because why? It is not conducive to my growth. You see what I'm saying? I don't want your fruit. Keep it. Okay, so with that being said, you have to find your purpose. And where is your purpose at? Okay, now, when you come here from Universal Mind, okay, when you come here from Universal Mind and you are birthed, all right, yes, you came for a purpose and you came with a purpose. However, because you're serpent, okay, the conscious mind is not developed as well or yet. You are not aware of your purpose. However, it's all within you, within your subconscious mind. Okay, it's within your subconscious mind. Then your arrival, that means that, okay, you know, boom, the serpent stepped into your garden. That's consciousness, even if it is still a young serpent, right? But then you have people that come into your life and start teaching you all these different things. Okay, family, all these different things. Now, here's the interesting thing is this. After you have gone through all these, love, hate, joy, pain, wealth, poor, right, wrong, knowledge, ignorance, all these things, okay, all that from here, go all the way back to your arrival. All that is physical. Even when you are birthed, you see what I'm saying? That's where I would say you're in purgatory. Not necessarily hell and heaven, but within the universal mind realm or the spiritual realm and the physical realm. Okay, that's why we still have the umbilical cord. You see what I'm saying? So within birth, from birth to arrival, you are in between. You have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now you may choose to, to arrive, or you may not choose to arrive. Okay, it might be a stillbirth. Something might happen. You might not arrive. You feel me? I hope that makes sense. But with that being said, from your birth, your arrival, all the way, all this is physical, meaning that it's conscious. It's conscious driven. It is conscious driven. Yes, we do have our subconscious mind that we were birthed with, but because of the indoctrination, we were taught what? To suppress the greatest part of our mind. That's why it's called sub. Sub means to be under, beneath, just like a submarine. Okay? A submarine is nothing but a marine that is underwater. It is sub. So your subconscious mind is underneath. It meaning that it was buried. And that's where a lot of us were indoctrinated, because why? We were taught to put our subconscious mind, keep it beneath, and let our conscious mind be the most prevalent. In other words, the ability to know right and wrong, joy and pain, love and hate. That is the serpent. Okay? So the serpent became the most prevalent part of you. And the serpent taught you who God was. When the truth of the matter is, you already knew because you came here as God. When you were birthed, you came here as God, as part of the true essence of the universal mind. So here we are. You go through all this cycle here of experiencing the different characteristics of life, what we call life. And then boom, you're young, okay? You are still a young speaker. Even when you come from the universal realm, you are still a young soul coming to have a new experience. So you are still young, you are still joyous, you are still playful. Go back to being a child, my people. Not childish, but go back to being a child. You grew up too fast. Renew your mind, okay? So now here we come. You start getting older, not old. There's no such thing as old, because when you get old, that's mean you're done. You have gotten to your destination. Okay, it depends on perspective. Now, physically, the body gets old, meaning that when you so-called die physically, that's when you're old. But I hear people, they get to 30, 40, 50. Oh, I'm old. No, if you were old, you would die. You're older, but you're not old. You see the difference? Everything is about the words. What you speak is what you speak in your life. Yes, I'm getting older, but I'm not old. It's a perception of what you were taught. So the physical life continues until what? It comes to a point where it's a halt. That's when you have the physical death. So what are you taking with you? Okay, what are you taking with you? This is very important right here. Okay, that physical death. The only things that you are taking with you, obviously, you cannot take the things of the physical with you. So what are you taking? The emotions of love, joy, pain, hate. You know, you cannot take wealth and poor with you. You cannot take the cars with you. You cannot take the money with you. You cannot take right and wrong with you. You could only take the emotions of what these things brought to you. Okay? If getting wealth and money, it brings you love, it brings you joy and happiness, that's what you are taking with you. If being poor brings you pain, anguish, hatred, that's what you are taking with you. But you are not taking right or wrong. Because the feeling of right brings what? It brings joy. It makes you happy when you're right and you're wrong. I mean, it brings happiness or joy. When you're wrong, it makes you what? Feel sad. You see what I'm saying? So all we are taking with us is what? Emotions. Emotions. That's all we are taking with us. But now, what are the things that stimulate those emotions? It is the tangible things. The tangible things that we can't take with us, they give us the intangible things we take with us when we get to that point of being old and you die. I hope that makes sense. Let me kind of break that down some more. All right. Or let me just kind of reiterate or break it down in a different way. Okay. Here we are. Wealth, money, cars, women, men, whatever you want to call it, clothes, you know, we cannot take that with us. Those are tangible things. So we cannot take the tangibles back into the universal realm because it's not needed. All right, it's not needed. Those things are only for our physical pleasures. All right, they're only for our physical pleasures. However, having a lot of money, meaning that you could take care of your friends and family and you don't have to struggle, it brings what? It brings happiness, and happiness could eventually turn into joy. Keep in mind, happiness is not joy. Joy is a spiritual thing. It's more internal. Happiness is internal too, but it's not as profound as joy. Okay? Happiness could be temporary, but joy is something that should be eternal, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, the physical things, okay, will allow you to be happy and to be joyful, but you cannot take that with you. Those are the tangibles. And the tangibles you cannot take into that realm when you go back. In other words, when you are vine, you are back connected to the vine. Okay, you are no longer divine. All right, so moving forward, you guys got to be mindful and tell yourself that you are not divine, but you are vine. Okay, you are vine. Because why? You are making your way back from whence you came. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, go ahead and let me get some threes in the chat. Okay? Let me get some threes in the chat. So all you are taking with you is those feelings, those emotions. So once you go through this cycle here, okay, in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, whatever the case may be, boom, there comes the physical life. You're old and you gave it up. Okay, you're old and you gave it up. Now, a lot of people, religion taught them that when they get to that part, they old and they so-called die, their life is over. That is not true. Because there is no such thing as death. There is physical death, but there is no death. All right? When the body goes back, and I could prove this, because even when your body goes into the ground, right? I promise you, they could dig up your body and go get DNA after 10, 15, 20, 30 years to connect you to a case. So if you died, how can they get your DNA after 50 years? You see what I'm saying? There is no such thing as death, family. Life is ongoing. Because guess what? When your physical body goes into the ground, it becomes what? It becomes fertilizer for the plants. And then the animals eat that plant. And then you eat the animals or you eat the plants. So you are literally recycling yourself, so to speak. So that's the continuation of life. Even if you are not conscious of it, so therefore the conscious part of you, it doesn't die. It goes back into what's called matter. So you know what really matters? Your conscious mind matters, not the color of your skin. Okay, it's all about your mind. So when this consciousness dies with your physical body, guess what? The true you springs back to life, which is what? Your subconscious mind. It is no longer subconscious, it is you. Because nothing is suppressing it. Nothing is holding it down. So you go back straight to what? You are now born again, going back from whence you came, which is the universal realm. And that is the cycle of life. Now, between that physical death, okay, and the moment you were birthed, when you transition physically right here, and then your mind go back. First, your mind have to be, in a transitional phase. You are now making a mental decision what you're going to do. Am I going to go back to the universal mind to chill for a little bit? Or am I going to immediately reincarnate and be birthed again as another human individual? Or am I coming as an animal? Am I coming this time as a tree? Am I coming this time as a rock? You see what I'm saying? Man, I don't think y'all ready for this, man. Well, maybe you are. Maybe you are. I don't know. I don't know. Some people say they want the truth. My question to you is, can you handle the truth? You see what I'm saying? So within all of this, the cycle of life, you have to find your purpose. The question is, do you want to go back and get old and die physically with the emotions of pain, hate, failure? You see what I'm saying? Jealousy. That's the questions you have to ask yourself. You see what I'm saying? After I transition here, that's why when people get to this point in their physical life, when they feel they're about to go over, that's when they start trying to make amends. You see what I'm saying? That's when they're trying to make amends. Don't matter what they had. It doesn't matter how much money they had. It doesn't matter how many cars they had. When they get to that point, they would give all of this up. Just so they what? Could feel what? Love, joy, the intangibles. You see what I'm saying? So your ultimate purpose in life, family, is to what? Is to love. Your ultimate purpose in life is to what? To find joy. Your ultimate purpose in life should be to find what? Happiness. You feel me? It doesn't mean that we cannot experience hate. It doesn't mean we cannot experience being broke and poor. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you can experience being wrong. It doesn't mean that you cannot be in a state of ignorance. But my question to you is, when you're ready to make that transition, do you have the knowledge enough to know that, hey, it's not over? Okay? Within that time, right there, before you transition, are you feeling loved? Are you feeling joy? Or are you feeling regrets? Because guess what? If you are feeling hate, pain, regrets, you're broke, and you are in a state of confusion, guess what? You will not be able to go back to the universal source. You know why? Because within the universal source, there cannot be confusion. There cannot be pain. There cannot be hate. There cannot be animosity. There cannot be gossip. Somebody tell me I'm speaking to the choir today. Let me know if I'm speaking to the church today. And guess what? I ain't passing no collection plates. Keep your money. I don't want it. I got my own. I don't need your 10%. And brothers and sisters, that is the cycle of life. That is the truth. Okay? That is the truth. Everything that we know now is because we were converted. We were indoctrinated. We were brainwashed. Okay, because when we came here, we didn't come with none of these things. Show me the book that you came here with. Okay, if it's the truth, when you came out of your mama's, let me be correct. When you came from your mama's vagina, okay, which is the correct term, okay, you would have came here with the book. Okay? You would have came here with the book. So basically, everything was already in you. You didn't need anybody to tell you what it was. Their job was just to guide you and not to be your parents. A parent comes from a perspective of what they call slavery. No, I'm parent. I'm going to tell you what to do. But you see, a guide is something different. That's why we have guardian angels and not parenting angels. Somebody stop me. But don't stop me. Okay? That's why we have guides. Okay? That's why when you pray, which I don't use that word pray anyway, I don't want nobody praying for me. I don't want nobody praying on me. And I'm not going to pray on anybody or for anybody. Watch the words that you speak. Okay? Watch the words that you speak. It's really up to you to protect yourself and your energy. When people say, hey, Chief, I'm praying for you, I don't say anything. I don't say thank you because I don't want you praying on me and for me. I don't want you doing that. When a lion preys on a rabbit, do you think the rabbit is happy that it's being preyed upon? No. You are a victim when people are praying for you. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. So I affirm things. My affirmations are positive affirmations. I don't pray for nobody. When I do my affirmations, I say, well, you know what? I'm sending love and positive energy to such and such. I'm sending abundance of happiness and wealth to such and such. That's what I do. So when people tell me to pray for me, I don't even respond to that. I don't respond to that. But at the same time, I don't want to be disrespectful because sometimes they don't know. All right. And to them, their intentions may be well, but with the universe, it's not about intentions. It's about is the seed that you plant. You see, I tell people like this, and people always tell me, well, Chief, you know what? But Chief, is the intentions. Let me tell you something. The universe don't know your intentions. You see what I'm saying? Because remember, look at the word intention. All right. Intention. Tension by itself is what? And then it's not just tension, but it's intention. You see what I'm saying? It's coming from inwards. So whatever you're saying, that's what it is. So you cannot trick the universe. You cannot trick the universe. So it's up to me to accept the things that people say or just let it be. Even if in their mind, they may be trying to say something else. And that's why I tell people like this. Intention is okay, but it's about the seed that you plant. Well, Chief Kalinago, how can you prove all these things you're talking about? I just hear you talking. All right, let me prove it. If you go out there into nature right now and you plant a mango tree, all right, you plant a mango tree. Oh, you know what? Let's just say somebody gave you a mango seed and you go plant it out there in nature. But you didn't know it was a mango tree, it was a mango seed. You thinking it's orange, and you say, you know what? I'm planting this seed. I'm going to wait around for 6 months and I'm going to get oranges. Let me ask you a question. If the mango seed was planted, would you get oranges? It's a very simple question. It's rhetorical. No. So how are you going to tell me it's about the intentions? And then when you tell people these things, you know, they want to get mad at you. They want to get aggravated. I don't care if you get upset. I'm telling you what it is. You see, I know the truth. I know what truth is. So you will not plant mango seeds and get oranges, even if that's your intentions. So when you speak things on my life, don't tell me, well, I know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. I know how I'm going to perceive it, but I don't know what you mean. Or well, not put it that way. I may know what you mean, but I'm not going to accept what you're saying because I'm not going to speak that over my life. You see what I'm saying? Just like when people say, bless you, I don't accept that. Why would I want to be less than the universal mind? Why would I want to be less than the I am? You see what I'm saying? So you have to find, all this is about finding your purpose. Because if people are the ones making determinations on what your life should be, then they are the ones finding your purpose for you. And that's fine sometimes. People could assist you, but make sure when it's all said and done, when you reach to that part of your life, when you're actually old and you're about to give it up, okay, make sure that you're experiencing love, joy, happiness. Make sure you're feeling abundant. That's what we have to take with us after we transition. So now, that means that you have graduated. That means that you have completed the cycle. That means you finally got it. And now you could go back into the universal mind. Go back to the great I am, untainted. Go back to perfection. Man, woo. I'm telling y'all, I had to do some deep meditation to get this to y'all today, boy. Word up. You feel me? Because I was like, you know, I got to give them something today. But at the same time, talk about purpose, talk about wealth, but I want to go deeper. Because you see, the true wealth is love. The true wealth is joy. The true wealth is the feeling of abundance. Okay? That's what it is. So just know that you cannot go. And that's why I tell people, it's funny. People would be rapists. They would be criminals. You know, they would be doing all type of stuff. And when they so-called die, you hear the pastor, oh, well, he or she's with God right now. No, they're not. Which God you talking about? I know you ain't talking about the untainted universal mind. No, their criminal butts ain't going there. Because that's the state of mind that they left with here. Killing people, raping people. So they're not going to contaminate the uncontaminated. So they're not going back to the universal mind. They have to do what? They have to come back. You see, they have to come back and be birthed in the flesh. They cannot go back into the universal mind and connect back to the I am. So pastor and minister, you are lying. Or maybe you just don't know what you're talking about. They're not going back there because guess what? Within the universal or within the I am will not be contaminated. That's why the I am had to experience outside of itself to experience everything that it cannot experience within itself. Somebody stop me. Man. And that's it in a nutshell, family. That's it in a nutshell. You don't need religion to confuse you. Find your purpose. Find your true I am, because it's within you. Go back and be divine. Stop saying you're divine. Stop saying you'll be less. Stop it. Okay? So I hope all this made sense to you. It may not, it may or it may not. I'm not here to tell you that this should be your truth. All right? But I'm just showing you, the further back you go into antiquity, it was less books. The further you go back into antiquity, there were no books. Okay? Everything was within you. Everything is still within you until you allowed people to indoctrinate the real you. You dig? That's the only difference. Okay? You allow people outside of you to contaminate the person inside of you. You allow the people outside of you to brainwash the person inside of you. That's why they have to do what? They have to govern your mental, hence the word governmental, government. What do you think ment means? A department, compartment. Your mental, a part of your mind, they are governing that. And anytime people are governing your mind, guess what? They're able to plant thoughts into your mind. Their ideologies, their perceptions, to tell you what your reality should be. And that happens from the moment that you are birthed in this physical realm. Because guess what? The subconscious mind, the Garden of Eden, guess what? The conscious mind step in, and then boom, the serpent start taking play. And now all of a sudden, all these seeds, okay, are being planted in your Garden of Eden. And now you understand life and death. You understand love and hate. You understand joy and pain. You understand wealth and poor. You understand right and wrong. You understand up and down. You understand left and right. But let me tell you something. When you were birthed and you were so close to the source within your realm, still a God that you know you are, there was no right or wrong. When you see babies do things, who do you think tell them, oh, it's wrong, oh, it's right? The people that's outside of them. With them, they're just doing, because it's just life. They're experiencing life. Whether it may burn, listen, a baby don't know a stove is going to burn them. You see what I'm saying? A baby don't know a stove is going to burn them. But a baby would take its hand and go put it in a stove. It's just experiencing life. All right? And then your guardians are supposed to guide you. That's what they're there for, to guide you. Not to be your parent, but to guide you. And a lot of us are being parents opposed to being guides. So we cripple our children and don't let them leave their purpose. Okay? So with that being said, guys, this is all I have for you today. No, thank you. You guys are absolutely welcome. All right? You're absolutely welcome. So find your purpose. Okay? Whatever your purpose is, go back to being that child before all this came into play. What I mean by that, before everybody started telling you what is right and what is wrong, who's God and who's the devil. Because what you have to realize, the same way love and hate is the same frequency, God and the devil is the same frequency. Okay? It's the same frequency. What we call God had to create outside of itself, which is the devil, to explain washing. Go back. Empty out your mind. Renew your mind. Go back to the factory settings. You see, when you go to your computer and you go to your security settings, and then you have all these things on your computer and it's just messing things up. What they tell you, they give you a little button. Go to settings and hit reset to factory. Well, this is what a lot of you need to do. Go back within yourself and reset yourself to what? To the factory, meaning that go back to what? The universal mind. Find yourself back again. At least as close as you could get. And learn to love. Yes, you could experience hate. Okay, but don't let that be your reality. Yes, learn to feel joy, learn to be joyful. It doesn't mean that you cannot identify pain, but don't let it be your reality. Okay? Yes, it's okay to be poor for a moment because it's an experience, but don't let that be your reality. Because when you're poor, it will not allow you to feel love because it's an emotion. And being poor is synonymous with pain. Being pain brings hate. You see what I'm saying? And again, it depends on how strong you are mentally. Like me, I see things for what they are. So if something happened that might be painful, I don't let it take me into a state of pain, into a state of hate. I don't do that because I already know it's only one emotion, but a different polarity. You see, I know that because I'm grown in my Christhood, so to speak. It was supposed to be, and it should be. It wasn't to worship. Even in the Bible, it says what? Thou shalt not put any other God over me. What does that mean? If you are in the universal mind, you're part of the universal mind, that means that you are God. So you should not put any God over you. Period. Now, you could acknowledge another God, but there should be no other God over you. You feel me? That's why the allegorical Jesus said, my Father and I are one, but yet still my Father is greater than I am. That may seem like a contradictory, but what does that mean, Chief? Well, it means this. Okay, in the physical realm, my Father is greater than I am. Who is his Father? The I am in him, the I am above. His higher self, the Christ, is greater than the physical man. But you are going back to the universal mind. Should we be looking? You will see Jesus, but you wouldn't even know it's Jesus because you're too blind. It's allegory. I didn't want to go there, but when you arrived, all that noise, because once again, it's all good though. All right, guys. But anyway, okay. So that's why I don't like going to funerals because I will be one of the person to stand up and say, nah, stop lying. All right. That bastard was a rapist. I will speak the truth. So I don't go to funerals. I don't lie. I don't like to lie. I will tell the truth. So when you transition, you will not. And I will repeat, when you transition, depends on how you lived your life. Depends on the state of mind. Again, mind. It depends on the state of mind that when you're ready to transition, you live here. You will not be connected back to the universal all. No. Okay? There is a place that you will be until the universal mind make the decision, until the council make the decisions on what you are coming back to be. Okay? Depends on your grievances. Depends on how great it was. It will, oh, well, should we have him come back as a roach? Where he got to keep running for his life every time the light come on? Or should we put him as a cow, all right, where he could eat in abundance, but then he could be eaten? You see, all those decisions are made, whether you believe it or not. But you will not go back. I promise you, you will not go back to the universal all, what you call God. And when I say God, I'm using that term very lightly. Okay, you will not go back there. So don't fool yourself. Don't think you could live your life and live it any way you can, and then all of a sudden when you die physically, oh, you're going to heaven. No, you are not going to heaven. And heaven, again, heaven is just a mental realm of a state of bliss. That's all heaven is. Heaven is not in the sky with no sky daddy. Don't let nobody fool you. Ain't no chariots coming to pick you up and take you up there in the sky. The chariots is within yourself. The chariots is within your mind. Okay? That's what they are. They are frequencies. They are vibrations. That's the chariots. All right? It's an energy wave. That's what it is. Greetings, Saki. That's what it is. All right? So everything is within you. Everything is within you. So you are supposed to. Man, don't let me speak in tongues up in here. Y'all playing too much. Halamashunda. Y'all playing too much. Okay? You see, I could have fun with this because I know I'm speaking truth. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people may think it's blasphemy, but it's not. It's because you were indoctrinated. You were indoctrinated. You don't know what you're talking about. I would sit down with any religious scholar, any one of them, sit with me and let's have a beautiful conversation. And I promise you, when we are done, they're going to tell you, hey, Chief, you know what? Because I've done it. Well, Chief, we're saying the same thing. I'm just saying it a little bit different. Well, my thing is, why say it a little bit different? Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Tell them to get off their knees and stop praying on people and stop praying for people. Tell them that. Tell them the truth. I don't care how much you go on your knees and pray for things. Man, listen. Ain't nobody going to give you nothing unless you get up and give it to yourself. Period. It's already there. You just got to go and get it. All right? You just got to go and get it. So when you know your strength, when you know who you are, it's key. All right? So, guys, keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind. Life is a cycle. And when you go through this cycle, when you come to this point right here, that's where the rubber meets the road. During this cycle right here, what did you do? Okay, what did you do? Did you do everything you were supposed to? Did you find your purpose? Did you live your life? Did you have a purpose? When you get here, when you're ready to graduate and go through, are you going to repeat the 4th grade or the 3rd grade, the 3rd dimension? Or are you going back to the universal source to experience maybe another dimension, okay, where things are elevated? You see what I'm saying? Or you're going to come back here and step back into a physical body and be birthed again in the flesh. If you were giving pain to people, then you'll come back and experience that pain. Remember that. Whatever seed that you sow, you will reap. Okay? So guys, you guys been amazing as usual. All right? And I'm glad you guys I'm glad you guys are here today. All right? So that's good. Well, Shay, I'm glad you're here as well. Okay, I'm glad you're here. Like I tell people, I'm beyond all this. This right now. I'm on a whole different level in my thinking. I've always been for a while. You see, but periodically I will come through and I'll drop some knowledge on y'all. So with that being said, my number, my email is in the link. Anybody who want to link up, be part of my economic, wealth building group, because I really want to reach out to people and start changing people's lives. And I'm telling people, I'm not saying money is everything, but it will help people, where we could provide food, we could build schools and start teaching people the true knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Start teaching people. That's what I'm about. So one of the ways and the things I find to do it is to make sure that people are able to, have a home. Okay, they're able to feed their family, they're able to pay their bills, and part of that is building. That's part of my economic wealth building wealth plan. You see what I'm saying? That's why I tell people I'm looking for people that are ready to work with me to build wealth and do what we have to do to make this happen, so we could start changing, making that paradigm shift. You see what I'm saying? To make that paradigm shift, because when you can't pay your bills, okay, when you are living in a world that's so money driven, and you don't have a voice, it's hard for you to live your life. It's hard for you to live your life. But when money is not a problem, you see what I'm saying? You are able to focus on different things. You see, the system is designed that way, to make money a problem, okay, to make you struggle financially so that you are not able to focus on yourself and build yourself mentally. I'm going to repeat that again. Society put us in a position where they stress us financially. Okay, so when you cannot navigate through these seas, all right, when I say these seas, I'm talking about this land of commerce. When you cannot but when you cannot navigate through these seas of commerce, then you become stressed. Okay, you become stressed, and now you're able to be hijacked by the pirates. You see what I'm saying? That's why they have piracy laws. You feel me? But when you are able to go through a port and pay your price, then you are able to do everything that you can. You see, sometimes you guys want me to spell things out. I don't want to spell it out. That's why I speak to people like Jesus sometimes in parables. You see what I'm saying? I tell people, even in the Bible, Jesus said what? You are going to do greater things than I am. I am doing greater things than Jesus. You see what I'm saying? Because he had his time, and it's all allegory. Even in the Bible, it says what? You will do greater things than me. Even when he told his disciples, you will not die before you see the kingdom of heaven. So if Jesus said you will not die before you see the kingdom of heaven, why are you people still looking for the kingdom of heaven when it already came? Somebody say, Chief, stop. You're telling them too much. You see what I'm saying? But he was telling them but where's the kingdom of heaven? Go read the book. It says the kingdom of heaven is within. So he tell them, I will make sure that you don't die before you go within and see heaven. But no, religion is teaching you to go on your knees and, pray, so you could get to heaven, when the truth of the matter is just go inside and you'll experience heaven if you want to. Heaven is not that far-fetched. Heaven is not that far-fetched. Heaven is within. Just tap within yourself. Find that moment of bliss. Find that place of joy and experience heaven. You don't have to physically die to experience it. No, it's within you. Come on. And yes, Jesus did raise people from the dead, but it wasn't the physical death. It was the spiritual death. Nobody could raise anybody from the physical dead. It has never happened. It will never happen. But Jesus raised people spiritually because they were dead spiritually. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm raising the dead. So that's why even in the Bible it says that Jesus will walk among you and you wouldn't even know it's Jesus. You see what I'm saying? Because you were taught that Jesus is just one concept of a man. But no, everybody in the flesh is Jesus, but not everybody is Christ. Ooh, Chief, you telling them too much right now. Ooh, wee. Stop it, Chief. They ain't ready for this. They're not ready for this. Okay? They're not ready for this, son. All right? I'm going to say this again. All right? Everybody is Jesus in the flesh, but not everybody is Christ. Because guess what? Jesus wasn't always Christ. Jesus had to become the Christ. Somebody say, stop it. Woo! Man, let me tell y'all something, man. Y'all better stop playing. If y'all ready for this graduation, y'all better tune in. Y'all better tune in. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Y'all better, yeah, man, listen. Okay? If you realize Jesus couldn't teach the gospel until what? He was baptized. So he had to go away from the age of 12. And in every culture, especially indigenous culture, every child, especially the boys, had to go away at the age of 12. Okay? So where do you think they get all that from? They get it from indigenous cultures. We already knew this stuff. We didn't need a book. That was already in us. You feel me? That was already in us. And the only way to become the Christ is what? You have to renew the mind. You have to be baptized by whom? By John the Baptist, which is already in you. It is one of the 12 faculties in your mind. You did. So now when you are ready to give up all the things of the world, what does that mean, Chief? The things of the physical body, meaning that the conscious mind. Okay, that's what the things of the world are. Because without the conscious mind, you will not be able to perceive anything in the world. Woo! Man, where TD Jakes at? Come talk to your boy, Jakes. Let's have a serious conversation. Where you at, Creflo? Let's have a serious conversation. I guarantee you they will tell you Chief Kalinago ain't wrong. Well, he's just saying it a little bit different than I am. And no, I don't want to be partners because I don't want to pass the collection plate. But the point I'm making is this, okay? And I'm going to probably go for another 5, 6, 7, 8 more minutes. I didn't plan on going that long, but, you know, the spirit is flowing right now. You did? But with that being said, you have to realize this, okay? Jesus did not okay, or was not the Christ. He wasn't born the Christ. All right. Now he was born with Christ in him. Keep that in mind. See, there's a difference. All right. Jesus was born with the Christ in him, like we all was born with the Christ in us. Okay. We all was born with the Christ in us. Christ was already in us. Because all Christ means is what? The anointed one. You see what I'm saying? All Christ means is the anointed one. That's all it means. Nothing more, nothing less. And anybody who has gone through the life of Jesus, okay, and they have ascended, meaning that they have died physically, they have paid the price and have died physically, then they can become the Christ. Because that means the Christ is activated. Christ can be activated. All right? But you already have the Christ in you. There's a difference. Okay? So, Jesus had to go through the journey of learning how to be a man. For those of you who didn't know, Jesus had a wife. Okay? Her name was Mary Magdalene. Okay? That was Jesus' peace. Just in case y'all didn't know. Okay? You see, a lot of you just listen to what people tell you. Even in the Bible it says, even when God created the allegorical Adam, what did God say? Man should not be alone. So why would God put his only begotten son on earth without a wife? That means God is going against his own words. You see what I'm saying? So y'all got to think for yourselves. Mary Magdalene was Jesus's woman. He had a woman. Oh, trust me, Jesus was tapping that. You see what I'm saying? But they will never tell y'all that. Because they want you to think that Jesus is greater than you. When Jesus is saying, now, you are going to do greater things than me. You see, that's how they have to entrap you. You see what I'm saying? That's how they have to keep you enslaved. That's how they have to keep you subservient. That is the goal of religion. Religion, keep you under the army of whatever they call that the name of that religion is. Because all legion means is an army. And religion means to bring it back. Bring back the army. That's all it is. So ultimately, find your purpose, which is what? Find the true you. Find yourself. Find yourself. It doesn't mean that you cannot acknowledge other gods. Why not? If I acknowledge my brother, I acknowledge my sister, I just acknowledge another God. But I'm not going to worship you. I'm not going to worship nobody. Okay? I don't want to be on that war ship. Look at the words. The word that you see, look at the play on words. I don't want to be on that war ship. That's why when people say, Chief, you know, you're a warrior, Chief. No, I'm not a warrior. I am not attracting war to me. No. I'm a peaceful man. But don't get it twisted. This God could come with the wrath. You see what I'm saying? Man, I don't think y'all ready for this. So when you truly know who you are, you could be you could be wholesome. You see, a lot of things don't bother you because you already know what it is. You already know what it is. Okay? So guys, don't want to go, but I got to go. You know what I mean? I gotta go. So like I said, man, my email, my number is in the link below. If you want to be a part of my economic building team, because we got work to do. I want to alleviate, poverty. I want to alleviate the fact that, a lot of people are not able to take care of themselves because society is making it hard for them, and more so it's about the knowledge. So that's my goal. That's my goal. That's why I want to help people and grow together and build together, practice economic growth and wealth. You see what I'm saying? So we could come back into our neighborhoods and buy up our neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? Buy up our neighborhoods and start teaching our children. That's my goal, man. That's my purpose right now. You feel me? And I'm just looking for the people who are ready to walk with me and make that happen. And I am determined about that. I am determined. And I know what it's going to take. I know what it's going to take because you see, we cannot negate the fact that we live in a physical world. And it was a decision that we made. Okay, nobody forced us to come here. You see, that's hence the word free will. Okay, we all have free will. We chose to come here. You chose to live the life that you're living. Anything that you go through, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how you perceive it. You chose that life. You see what I'm saying? Well, Chief, you're trying to tell me, well, when I walked down the block 2 days ago and a car hit me and broke my leg, you mean that you trying to tell me that I chose that? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Oh, well, Chief, you're trying to tell me, well, when I met this man and this woman or this woman and they broke my heart and I almost committed suicide. You're trying to tell me I chose that? Yes, you did. But the difference is this. You are not aware of your higher self. You are not aware of your higher self. In other words, you are only living through your conscious mind and not realize that there is something a little bit deeper than your conscious mind that don't see the pain. You see what I'm saying? It only perceives what you give it. It only, whatever you feed it, that's what it's going to perceive. But just know that each and every one of us, we have the I am in us. Okay? Christ is already in us. It is up to us to activate the anointed one. And you are not going to activate the anointed one by going down on your knees and pray. No, it have to be self-work. You have to build yourself. Okay, you have to go through building yourself. You have to carry that cross. Okay, and then you have to be crucified. Okay, then you have to be put on the cross, coming to the crossroads. And then you have to ask your higher self, why me? Why me, Father? Why me, Mother? Okay, and that spear got to be pierced into your sides to make sure that that physical man or woman, the old ways, the negativity, the bad habits, the gossiping, make sure all that die. Okay? And to even make it worse, you got to take the vinegar and put it in those wounds. And then when you're ready to give up all the carnal things of this world, of the conscious mind, you see how much of a challenge it is to get to Christ, to activate your Christ? It takes work. But it can be done. Why? Because Jesus paved the way. You see what I'm saying? Now, if the pastors really taught you the truth like that, people wouldn't be slaves to religion. You see? People wouldn't be slaves to religion. You did. And that's the truth right there, brothers and sisters. So you have to go through all that. And when that final breath is taken away, all right, from the conscious mind, thinking that it runs things, then guess what? Within 3 days, okay, once you do that, you go into your meditation. Within 3 days, guess what's going to happen? You are going to resurrect. You're going to re-erect, okay, your what? What was buried, which was the Christ in you. Now the Christ is activated, and guess what's going to happen? That light will shine from above and say what? This is my only begotten son or daughter in whom I have trusted. It's within you. Nobody could do that for you but you. You have to activate your Christ. Okay, to get back to the universal mind, you have to go through what? The son or the daughter, which is what? Your own individual mind. Okay? Period. And no matter who try to help you, they could help you carry that cross, but you got to take it back. Because if they help you carry your cross and bring it all the way to the mount to be crucified, guess what? You still haven't done your job. You took the easy way out. That's why I tell people, Diamonds come from the rough. Okay, diamonds come from the rough to be such a beautiful thing. You have to go through it. You have to carry your cross. You have to go through the pain. You have to be beaten. Okay, you have to bleed. I know this may sound graphic, but it's not literal. You see what I'm saying? It's all an allegory. But then when you come from it all and you have stood the test of time, you will experience Christ. You will experience Christ because Christ is already in you. The Christ is just not activated. Okay? And you cannot activate Christ and going around lying. You cannot activate Christ and going around stealing and robbing and killing. You cannot activate Christ and gossiping on people. You cannot activate Christ and hating your brother and your sister. You cannot do that. Christ will not activate. That's why I tell people, I don't care how many churches you go to, you can't fool me. Because they got more gossip in these churches than anywhere than on Atlanta Housewives. They got more hatred and envy more than, let me tell y'all something, man. Am I speaking to the church today? You dig? And I'm not knocking churches. That's not what I'm saying. It's okay to congregate, but tell the people the truth. Don't let them be slaves to your system. Free the people. Freedom. Give them the facts. Free them, man. So you could never activate your Christ. You could never get to Christ if you have those type of characteristics that's taking over your life. You can't do that. It's impossible. It's impossible. Okay? It's impossible. And that's how you know the real from the fake. Okay? That's how you know the real from the fake. Because they are worshiping Christ, don't know what Christ is or who Christ is. All Christ means is the anointed one. So who's the anointed one? What they told you? I am the anointed one. I am Christ because I've activated my Christ. So we all got work to do. We all got work to do. We came from perfection. Okay? And we are created perfectly imperfect. Okay? I'm going to repeat that again. All right? There's only perfection in the universal mind. But when we decided to divide from the all, we were created perfectly imperfect. Because why? The physical body has flaws. But from whence we came, we are going to go back to perfection as long as we have met the criteria, okay, of going back to perfection. Because we cannot go back to the source. We cannot go back to the all. We cannot go back to what you call God if you haven't gone back to perfection. Okay? If you don't practice perfect, you got to practice perfect to be perfect. I hear people say all the time, well, Chief, practice make perfect. No. Perfect practice make perfect, because you could be practicing and still be practicing imperfectly. So therefore, you will never go back to perfection. So therefore, you have to practice perfectly to go back to perfection. Woo! Man, I don't know if I'm talking to the church today, but I'm going to tell you, I got 6 more minutes on here. I said, I'm going to give y'all 2 hours today. 2 hours. Well, I didn't plan that, but, Spirit told me, hey, Chief, you know what? Just let it flow. Let it flow, because you'll be speaking to somebody today. Somebody today is looking to free themselves from all the indoctrination, from all the brainwashing, and there's nothing wrong again in going to church and congregating with your brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? But what they're not telling you is Whatever you're looking for, you already have it. All you have to do is activate it. You see what I'm saying? And trying to activate it with something outside of you is not the way it's done. You have to activate it with what's already within you. You did. Okay? That's how it's done. It's like you trying to fix your car, but you don't have the tools in your hand. It has to be in your hand. If the tool is in Home Depot, you cannot fix the car. You see what I'm saying? If the tool is in Home Depot, you cannot fix the house. You have to get it. Okay? It has to be in your hand to put in the work. So therefore, you have to go within yourself and put in the work. Put in that work. All right? You cannot just look at your car and be like, oh, well, you know what? I got to fix my brakes. Let me just sit here and the brakes is going to fix itself. No, you got to lift up the hood, family. You got to lift up the hood. So you got to go lift your hood up. Too many of you, if you lift your hood up, you will see roaches and bugs and butterflies, all type of stuff flying out your hood because you haven't lifted up your hood in so long. Woo! Even the devil can't find a resting place under your hood. Air it out. Air it out. That's what spring is about. Okay? Open up your hood. You should have been already planting them seeds in the beginning of the springtime. Open up your hood. Let it breathe. And spring new life into yourself so that your summer could be blissful. Your summer could be abundant. You feel me? But you have to be specific. All right? Be specific with your thoughts. All right? Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? That new growth, family, that's what it's about. Okay? So I hope you know, again, I didn't plan on going all the way there. I just wanted to show you guys the cycle of life. But you know what? It was all part of, you know, the greater all plan. You know what I mean? I just flowed with the spirit and just flew what came through me. You see what I'm saying? But the truth had to be told. And again, this is not, some people may say, well, Chief, that's your truth. Well, you know what? It's okay. And if it resonates with some people, then it could be your truth as well. And make it be yours and add what you got to add to it. You see what I'm saying? But ultimately, my goal, okay, is to give you a more of an organic perception of what it is. You see what I'm saying? Where you don't have to make yourself a prisoner. All right? You don't have to be caught in the net. You feel me? You don't have to be caught in the net that was planned, the planned net. You don't have to be caught in that. You're not a fish. So there's no need for them to put you in a net. All right? That's why nobody should, you know, that's why they tell you, you know, Jesus was a fisher of men. I'm not a damn fish. Why are you trying to fish me? You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand that, no, I'm here to cut the net. I'm not here to put you in the net. I want to free you. You're not a fish. I'm here to give you life. Let you realize your greatness and that you are to live life in abundance. All right? You see what I'm saying? You could live life in abundance. So stop allowing the color of people's skin, okay, to prevent you from activating your Christ. All right? Nobody is greater than anybody. I don't care what y'all say. You see, because you're only thinking in the flesh. You see what I'm saying? You're still living in your lower self, but yet still you're talking about all this spirituality. You don't know jack what you're talking about. That's why I laugh at y'all people when y'all start talking about different races and they this and they that. They don't, nah. You see what I'm saying? All you are doing is you're appeasing the flesh. Okay? That's all you are doing. Okay? You are catering to the flesh. You are catering to the ego. You are saying things what people want to hear and not what they need to hear. You feel me? That is the problem. You did? That's the problem. So, with that being said, I'm about to conclude. I appreciate, I'm going on top of 2 hours right now. I really appreciate love you guys being on today. And like I said, for those of you who want to be part of my economic building team, send me an email, send me a text. Definitely, we got an amazing presentation this evening. I will plug you in, and let's build some wealth so we can start helping some people out and start eradicating some of this poverty, people struggling, and teach them about financial literacy. Okay, let's do this together. So you guys, peace and love. Thank you so much for being here, and you guys have a great and amazing continuation. Okay, remember that you are worthy. Okay, you deserve to have the best. You deserve to have the abundance. You deserve to be blissful. I'm telling you, okay, never be less than what you were meant to be. Remember that. Never be less than what you were meant to be. And never accept anybody taking you to hell and keeping you low. Always stay high. I love y'all. And that's coming from the heart, because the heart is the center of the universe. The center of all chakras is the heart. And once you open up your heart, you will open up your life and you will open up abundance. Peace and love. My email is there. My phone number is there. Reach out to me if you want to be part of my economic wealth building team. Peace and love.